This podcast is brought to you by Casa de la Zissa.
From Hollywood, California, the manager that we all love, David Firestone.
This is going to be an exciting episode coming up. We have Mariana Flores, who is one of our really great talent, we have lots of great talent, but she is really doing a bang-up job on the audition front. And so we're going to get into that in a little bit. This episode story is, a lot of stuff has happened over the last few weeks, and one of them is the passing of Gene Hackman and his lovely wife. Very difficult circumstances was what happened there, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm more to talk about the incredible actor Gene Hackman and what a legacy he left behind. God, he hasn't been in a film for, I think, almost 15, 20 years. It's been a while. And, he comes from a generation I knew very well, watched him come up in the movie business from his role as Popeye in French Connection, incredible film. And then the Oscar-winning performance as the sheriff in The Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood film. Incredible film, incredible performance. He's just one of those actors that is so iconic that we'll always remember him, and his film that he performed in will stand the test of time. I actually met Gene Hackman in a very unusual circumstance. There were a number of years ago. I don't have the date. I could Google it and look it up, but we don't really need to have that information. He had a angioplasty type story. He was doing a film up in the Northwest, and I was still not in the talent management business then. This is a number of years ago. And we were at an airport. I believe it was Portland. It may have been Seattle. I'm pretty sure it was Portland Airport. And I was there with an associate. We were sitting talking, having a coffee. And I just happened to be looking out outside the coffee shop into the airport area. We were in the departure area. And I saw a man come out of a doorway. I believe it was, one of the airline clubs. And I looked at him and I said, "That's Gene Hackman." And I thought, wow, he is like my guy. And I hesitated for a second because you don't want to get on an actor, but God, he's one of those people that has really had an impact on my life in terms of watching him perform, learning from him, and how he progressed his career in the business. It took him almost 13 years to get into some bigger projects while he was learning the biz. And he started walking down, I believe, towards one of the other terminals. I didn't know exactly where. And I yelled to I said to my associate, "I'll be right back." I didn't even tell him what I was doing. And I scooted off, walking down the carpeted part of the terminal. And I was trying to do it in a way that wouldn't spook him. I realized in my mind that he just might even be there because I read later he had an operation, and not at that time, but he'd had an operation that came out in the press later. So I think he was there still recovering and just leaving that area because he had the operation up in the Northwest, and I believe it was to pull it in there, but I'm not 100% sure of that. So, all right, I stalked him for a second, but in a nice way. And he turned left to go to one of the terminals. And he turned around and I walked up and said, "Hi, I'm so-and-so." And he looked at me, he gave me that Gene Hackman stare. And he's very tall. I think he's 6'2" at least to me he was. I had to look up, maybe taller. I'd have to, again, look at what his height really is or was. And he gave me that Gene Hackman look, like the French Connection look or the Unforgiven sheriff look, like, "Who are you?" and what do you want kind of look. And I just reached out and said, Mr. Hackman, I love your work. You're an incredible actor, and I'd just like to shake your hand. And he reached out. I shook his hand, and that was it. I said, thank you. And I turned and walked away. He's just that guy. Just kind of like, well, you see him on the screen. That's the way he is in real life. Very serious, vigilant, and wanting to like, why are you in my space? Because I'm that kind of a thing. So it's a great story. And I really will always cherish that moment when I think of him and watch some of the films that he is in. It's very sad. We lost a great man with him passing, but it seems his time was there, and he did live a long life. And in the last years of his life, he had a chance to. Unfortunately, he did have dementia, but he did go back to do artwork in the Santa Fe area. So hopefully he had some enjoyable creative moments and time while he was there. So with that said, we'll jump into the episode here very soon. Thank you. Have a great day. Mariana Flores, how the heck are you?
Hi, I'm good. How you doing?
Great. One of our star talent. She's been kicking, let's say kicking you know what for us.
But
yes, you can say it. There you go. You can be politically incorrect. Well, I can't. So how long have we been, this has been going on a bit, right?
right, yeah. I think we started, before the pandemic started, and then
Yeah, I think it was right before
happened.
it was right before the pandemic.
Right.
And that's when Mariana joined Firestone Talent, and it's been quite a ride. It's been great to have Mariana on board.
Yeah.
Mariana is a great actress. What I love about Mariana is she's very diligent about her work.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to say that about 100% for all of her actors, but I can definitely say that for Mariana. She always does her audition, no matter what crazy audition we get her, she does it.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And Mariana has booked with us, which is really the best part, right?
Yeah.
So,
Woo, yeah.
if I recollect, it was the Sympathizer.
Yeah. For
Right.
HBO.
For HBO, which is the based on a book about bad times in Vietnam, kind of, and also Paul Downey Jr. was one of the stars in that.
Yes, he was.
Did you see Paul wasn't in any of your scenes, though, right? I don't think so.
It was just one.
I mean,
scene.
Robert Downey Jr. I'm so sorry, Paul. Robert Downey
Yeah,
Jr.
it was just one scene, but he wasn't in it. But you know what? I really would have loved to see him because
Yeah,
it would have been great. We were on set and I saw his chair and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Where is he?
Where is he coming from?
Right,
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I don't know him personally, but love his work. I love what he did in Oppenheimer. He deserved that Oscar for sure.
Yeah,
really nailed that role. It was a great film and everything else. So you've been with us then, it would be 2025, so 6 years, almost 7 years.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Time flies.
That's right.
But who's counting?
No, I don't. You hate to count sometimes. When you start counting, you're like, wow. And Firestone Talent's put out this is our 13th year. Do you believe it?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we didn't always submit talent originally. I'm going to take these glasses off a second. They're annoying me, but it keeps my bloodshot eyes from showing on the screen. But no, we've been out 13 years. And we first started out with.
That's awesome.
We didn't really submit talent initially. We actually managed a band for a while, and we had talent. We produced a short film. We tapped probably a bunch of our actors in at that time. This was like 2012. Wow, 2013. And so the first 4 or 5 years, we were kind of learning the business, figuring out the pitfalls, the good things, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then that's about 7 years ago is when we made the change to do the submission things on our own. So we had to join the Talent Managers Association, do a lot of things, and it was great that we were able to make that happen. So here we are, 7 years later, and grown by leaps and bounds. It's great to have you on board.
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad I'm part of the team.
Now, Mariana, you're originally from Mexico, right?
Yes, I was born and raised in Mexico, Cabo San Lucas specifically. And then at the age of I would think I was about to turn 20. I moved to LA and I went to study. Yeah, I went to study to Stella Adler. I'm sure many of
Stella
your
Adler.
yeah.
You're a Stella Adler gal.
Yeah,
I think we
I
talked
am.
about this once before.
Yes.
We have another talent who went that route.
Oh, that went.
And it's all about imagination, right?
Yes, exactly. That's the technique. Correct.
That's their focus.
Yeah.
How long were you
I
with
love
them?
it. I was there for 2 years. I did the full program because
Wow.
as an immigrant, you have to have all your papers and
So they help with the paperwork and stuff too.
They do. And
Nice.
after the 2 year, you get to apply for an OPT, but they give it to you for only 6 months, which is a working visa. Yes.
I see.
Yeah. It's cool, but yeah.
Well, shout out to Stella Adler.
I know.
A lot of great talent. She brought you in, and you're with us now, which is great.
Yeah.
So, Mariana's gotten a lot of additions, and she's been really diligent with her work. And I do have to scold you sometimes about your outfits, though.
Oh yeah, but I love it. I love it though. I take notes. I love it. It's like I even though I've been taking classes and stuff. Like it's always good to hear feedback. It's always good to have notes. And I'm like, we can do this. And I'm like, okay, that's
feedback as long as we're not too cruel and we're nice.
No, I mean, as long as we work together.
I think sometimes teachers can be worse than the managers when they critique their talent. I've been to some classes and I've watched and seen some stuff go on there, but that's all good.
Never been in those situations.
So you've been acting for then 7 years, or how long have you been acting?
Oh, wow. Well, I think it's been over, if you count the studying, I think it's more than 10 years already.
I thought it was more like 10 years, right? Because you did some work in Mexico too, right?
Yes, I did. But when I left my country, I didn't know anything about acting. I did some work after I study and I started into the field and get to know how things work. So then when I end up getting a manager in Mexico too, that she only represents me in Mexico, by the way.
That's good to know. Yeah. What are you talking about?
No. Yeah, no, she stays in that side.
Right. Stays south of the border.
Exactly. Yeah. No, she's great too. And she pitched me to this project that I did. The translation in English is The Bad Girl.
Yeah. That's the one you have up on your reel? That's
one of them. Yeah, the one that I have, that I'm like a soldier, like a revolutionary woman. It is a period piece. It's a period piece, and I got
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where was that filmed? May I ask?
That was filmed in several parts in Mexico, and we ended up flying all the way to Europe.
Wow.
France, which was amazing because it was in Paris. We ended up going to Paris, so that was a really good.
Fantastic
time.
And then you also had a scene next to a Hulu show.
Oh yes, Hulu. And that's with Hugh Laurie.
What is Hugh?
Hugh Laurie. I think
Hugh Laurie. Thank you, Hugh Laurie. Yes, Hugh Laurie.
The one from Dr. House. That was such a great scene, actually.
Yeah.
It was a coaster too. Nevertheless, it ended up being like the scene of being longer than what I thought.
Awesome.
And yeah, it was such a good experience. Like you got to work with everybody, and it was like so flexible, and you could see how Hugh Laurie was like, like we can do this and we can do that. It's like, okay, this is very improvised, but it's okay. Wow. Let's just mix it up.
That was great.
No, it was a good.
He seems like a fun guy.
Yeah, he very chill. Very chill.
Excellent. That was probably a great experience for you, and I'm glad you had that. It's a nice.
Actually, that was my first co-star.
Really?
That was my first co-star.
Wow.
And yeah, it was such a good experience.
I'm really glad you have that tape. It's this great reel. That's what we talk about with some of our younger actors and others who are aspiring to this crazy business, but we love it. Mm-hmm. Is got to get a reel together. Got to have a reel. And you've done a really great job in a short time here with assembling some really nice materials. And especially with the Hugh Laurie tape, that really helps out a lot.
Right.
When we're marketing and also submitting you, because it shows that you can act. You have chops next to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I do my best.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
CDZ Collegia Musica is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It is a kind of school of music, a concert series, and an agency that promotes the musicians, dedicated artists, and educators who we feature as our performers. The goal of the Collegium is to bring community together through music performance. These performances vary in musical style from classical to jazz, and music from different parts of the world, from India to the Middle East, that'd be like Persia, and Japan, and China. The goal is to also educate us to how music functions not so much as a musical universal language, because there are differences in the way that these languages of music are expressed, but to educate us to be able to be more appreciative not only of the music but the culture it represents. And by doing this, it brings community together.
So what do you? So you've been at it for 10 years now, and one of the things we usually like to talk about on here is for aspiring actors, people who are coming into town or coming from somewhere else in the country or from out of the country. Where do you think is a good place to start? Where would you recommend? You mentioned classes, or what do you think?
Right.
Was good for you?
Well, in my experience, because I saw it with many students at Stella Adler, that they wanted to stay because they wanted to keep working on your craft. And yes, I do agree. You have to keep working with your craft, but you have to leave the school. I think it's that comfort zone. It is nice, everybody, but there are no new challenges. You're going to stay there and you're going to be stuck. And I knew that from the very beginning. So what I did is that 6 months prior, my student visa finished, I just went out. I just had to go out. I started auditioning, started booking roles, just like go out, see how it is, start knocking doors and see, I don't know if I'm going to book it, but you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. So I did that. As painful as it was to try to get out of my comfort zone, because all your classmates, all your teachers are going to baby spoon you, and they're gonna tell you you're great, buddy, and the fantastic,
right.
Right. I mean, I knew that, but then I knew that the world or the industry wasn't going to be like that.
Right.
So I would encourage everybody to just try your best, do your best to just get out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself and knock on doors. That worked for me. And then also, yes, keep working on your craft, keep taking classes. I have taken classes with Scott Sedita Acting Studio. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but he is.
Say it again.
Scott Sedita Acting Studio.
Scott Finita?
It's called Sedita.
Sedita. Okay, I'm not familiar. Yeah. It's good to give a plug. Okay.
He's very good. He's very good. I think he has already now 3 books. One is in comedy, and the other one is I think How to Make It in Hollywood. And I haven't seen the third one, but he's very good. He used to be a manager too, and now he's a teacher.
Good for
him. And another one is Graham Shields.
Say it again.
Graham Shields.
Graham Shield.
Yeah.
Now he's a private coach, or
he's actually an actor too.
Oh.
He's an actor. He's a working actor.
Cool.
And he also teaches. Very good, both of them. Yeah.
Well, those are great plugs. And Graham's Field, you said, is that correct?
Graham Shields.
Graham Shield, Sheeild. Okay.
Yeah, I'll text them to you too.
Yeah. and just as a disclaimer for the show, I don't really know those two, but if Mariana endorses us, I'm sure they're good. But do your research. I think that's the other thing I wanted to ask you. you obviously did some research on schools and coaches before you came to the U.S. or?
Oh yeah, I did. Because I actually wanted to go far away from Mexico, but my dad was like, "No, you're crazy. What are you talking about? No." And I'm like, "Okay, well, where you want me to go?" Anyways, the closest one from Mexico, especially Cabo, was LA. And
now let me just explain to our viewers: being from Cabo is not really being from Mexico. Okay.
A lot of people say
I could call it a certain town. I won't say, but it's.
I can't believe
there's a lot of Americans
Cabo.
that hang out down there.
No, yeah, it's a very beautiful.
It's a beautiful spot.
Place.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is very touristic.
Right.
But yeah, I had to get out though. I had to get out.
Right.
My mom, my sisters can't handle it. I had to get out. So I end up bumping into Stella Adler, and I knew New York Film Academy was out there too. And there was another one, but I don't remember the name. It's on Sunset. But those other two schools, they were more expensive than Stella Adler.
Oh.
So when I pretty much end up giving my dad a budget of, look, Dad, this is how much they charge and yada yada.
So Dad helped out. Okay,
exactly. He was like, okay, let's do it.
Now, one question: how did you research? Did you go online? Did you talk to people you knew in the U.S. or I'm just curious?
No, I just pretty much I just went to the internet and it was acting schools on Los Angeles.
And you were looking for schools that could help with your visa process too, correct?
Funny, not really. The school already had that in there for international students. So in their website, so I was like, okay, this is really it's making it really easy for me. So it was like a huge plus, you know?
Right. So you did your research, got going, and came to the U.S. But I remember there was a time when you were in a little flux. Was that after COVID when you're trying to get a green card? Is that correct? If I read?
Oh yes. That was the whole year of 2000. What is it now? 2025, 2024.
24.
Yeah. Well, the whole process was in 2023.
Okay.
I believe. Shoot. Sorry, my time is
further, yeah.
Like it was. I don't even know if it was in 2022, and then I ended up getting 2020. I don't remember, but it took like a whole year for the whole process to be approved.
Right.
And the whole all the projects that I have booked, all the work that I have done, I pretty much there you go. Here it is, please. And that was one of the most happiest days of my life. I even cried, if I may say, because I was speaking with the lawyer.
I'm glad.
You're making me so happy right
Admittedly,
now.
it does help with the submission process. So.
No, yeah. Because prior the green card, I had 3 O1s. And in case you do not know, each O1 is 3 years. But for me, not every country does this. The Embassy of the United States does this to every country. For me, they give it to me for a year. So every single year I had to go to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico to renew my O1.
Yeah.
So it was a hustle. Yeah.
A lot.
But yeah, a lot. A lot of money too.
I'm glad I didn't have to do that. So you booked Sympathizer with us, which was awesome. How'd that make you feel?
Oh my goodness. I felt really good. If you feel realized, I feel another achievement,
validated.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Honestly, it may be not a major role, but it's a good role. It's a co-star.
Right.
And people do not know this, but they say that co-stars are so easy, but they're not. Co-stars are not easy.
No, each role is tough, and that's the part I was leading into.
It is. But you really
after you have the euphoria of that role, which is great.
Yeah. Of course.
You can steal a TV name from a show, Euphoria. How do you keep yourself motivated now that you're back in the grind is what happens really, Right.
Oh, well, I think it's important to do some physical exercise. I love working out. Okay. That's one way. Another one is that I'm really into spirituality work. I really love that. Meditation helps calm yourself out so much. And words of affirmation. I mean, words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah, that really does the trick on me too.
Okay.
Like it's yeah, because I mean acting is just a part of my life. There are so many other parts. There's so many areas that I need to take care of.
That's true.
And yeah, those three things, like even eating balance, it's like, okay, you can go in and out today. It's okay. But next day, you gotta keep up. You
Back
gotta
on
keep
it.
working. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that
Yeah.
problem too much. I do what I want, but no, kidding aside, I don't do that. I really do try and, especially as you mature in life, you have to take care of your diet and not to have too many burdens.
Yeah, you have to. You have
And,
to.
okay. Well, that's really an interesting way. That's the first time I've had it described, though. I like the concept of the physical activity because they're working out, the exercise. I don't think some actors don't necessarily focus on that enough. There are some that do. That we have one actor who always is working out almost every day. And he goes and does this taekwondo, or he does weightlifting I think almost every day he goes out in the morning and does that. Not all actors do that.
That's cool.
Not saying you have to do that, but I think exercise does help relieve stress and keeps you in better shape, obviously. So
yeah. I have even tried boxing
to continue that when you've got the daily grind of just keeping yourself going. Now, you obviously have worked out a situation in between gigs of financing yourself, and I guess you have certain things that you do on a part-time basis to keep yourself going.
Right. Well, I have had so many jobs at this point. I have learned, I think I have put myself out in the world, and I have learned that I'm capable of doing so many other things, and I really like that about myself, because it even pushed me to, okay, how about directing? How about producing? How about writing too? I forgot to mention this. I went to LACC. I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you in the past, but I went to LACC and I did another 2-year program about everything that is behind camera.
Oh, behind the camera. Good.
Yeah. So
and where did you go to school for that?
LACC, Los Angeles Community College.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a great.
That's the one downtown, right?
Well, I think there's one near town, but I think there's several.
Oh, okay, several locations.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a hustle, like you trying to make it in the industry as an actor and fighting for a role, and it's like, oh God, and you get frustrated. It's like, okay, you don't find it, you don't get it, you didn't book it. Write your own stuff. Write your own stuff. Work on your craft. And then you expand yourself. Right. So I really discovered that about myself, because I even work as a production assistant, and I feel like I shine there too, because even the head of the production was like, you are great. Like, honestly, like everything that you do, when I tell you to bring it, you bring it. When you tell me to get me something, you get it. Like, and I'm like, well, thank you. So I realized, those tiny little things that, okay, maybe I'm good at producing. Maybe I can get stuff done. Maybe I can, gather a location, gather a crew. Maybe I can do all those things too. So I learned how to expand myself also in this area. And I really like that.
Excellent. That's excellent. Now, how did you become SAG?
Oh, how did I become SAG? So I believe I ended up getting several commercials, because the Hispanic market here is so heavy,
Right.
I think I ended up getting like 2 Honda commercials, and I don't remember, because I think after 3 you have to become SAG-AFTRA.
3 vouchers, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember what else was it that I booked that then I was like, okay, yeah, you have to become SAG-AFTRA. But pretty much because of commercials.
It became a must join.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was.
So basically, you ended up working commercial shots that got you into the SAG. That's what got you with the vouchers.
Pretty much, yes.
It wasn't really doing background work; it was doing commercials. It was interesting.
Yeah, background. No. I'm not opposed to doing background,
right.
But I don't think I'm allowed, right? Which is good. No, I'm not judging.
You're not allowed to do background? Well, you are not allowed to do background. They have SAG background actors.
No. But I'm saying, No, no,
I
no.
mean, some actors do make a
No,
living
right, right. No, yeah, and that's fine.
some actors do make a living off of that, right? So
No, yeah, and it's great. I know a lot of people that they made their income or they're able to pay their bills through background, and that's
right.
fantastic. But I do know, like for instance, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I also have my agency is
Aqua Talent Agency, yes.
Aqua Talent, Kearney. So
Of course,
Kearney is Kearney is my agent.
right.
I end up getting them last year at the end of last year, and she said like no background work. Like she made me say
maybe
like
she
no
was talking
background
about
work.
the resume, but the only issue with doing
Oh well,
background work, if you do get on a show and they feature you, then it's hard sometimes because then they know that you've been on that show, so they won't
oh, I
necessarily
see.
hire
Okay.
you because it's almost like you've been on the show already.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's sometimes
Yeah.
the issue with doing background work. But if you do it the right way without being featured, you're just one of the people walking around. They're not going to identify you, right? So that
Right.
is probably maybe one of the reasons I said don't do any background work, because
Right.
if you
Yeah.
get featured, they really like you. Then say it's whatever show it might be, like Sympathizer, and you were featured doing background, they might not be able to hire you
Right. Right.
as
Right.
a co-star. That's maybe where they're coming from.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but to
Okay.
me, irregardless, and they have every right, agents, to say what they think is the right thing to do, you got to make a living. And
Right.
if background work helps you to do that, I don't see, just be careful how you do it. You know?
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
don't try
Okay.
to stand out.
Yeah. Right.
So then they could get you for a feature, and then you would maybe not be able to be on that show because
Okay.
they always got the camera on. They're capturing people's faces, right?
Right. Right. Right.
That could
Okay.
be why they said that. And that's not, and also agents, and they're correct, and we feel the same way, that it's not something you can put in your resume, because background
Okay.
feature is not really considered a SAG credit.
Right.
So
Oh, okay. Okay.
even though you could argue differently, but officially or unofficially speaking, that's how agents and managers look at it. So
I see. Okay. Good to know. Oh, good to
yeah,
know.
that's some good tidbit for some actors out there that we're talking about. So I like the way you're looking at different sides behind it, because I think it helps actors to have their perspective of what goes on behind the camera, so to speak, in terms of the production side of it, because then they better understand the process, right? Of how actors are cast and what happens with that. And it's tough because sometimes actors don't quite understand that, and they get frustrated.
Right.
Why aren't they getting the role? Well, it's because of X, Y, Z. It's nothing to do with you. It's the production, it's who they're looking for, it's the mix and match with the other actors, it's the look, it's the age. There's a lot of factors that go into making
Right.
a decision, which sometimes it's, even though the actor may have done a great job. And that's why we always tell you, and that's what I love about how you do your work, is it's always about the win is the audition. You just focus on doing the audition and giving 100% and representing that role as you see it in the best way that you can.
Right.
And
yeah,
that's
that
your
was
job.
exactly what I was going to say to you. Like I at this point, I still do not know sometimes what production companies want. What is it, what they're looking for? I have no idea. So when I get on,
sometimes they don't know. They don't know, right? They're not sure. That's why they're looking at a bunch of people.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said sometimes to my other actors friends. It's like just you got the sides, you just do it. What your gut is telling you to do, what you think you should be doing, and then just go by your instinct, and that's it.
Right.
And if they like it, you might get a call back. You may never hear of that from them, and that's fine too.
That's good advice. That's good advice from your older actor friend.
And the most important thing I would say is just let it go. If you didn't hear from them, if you heard from them, still let it go. Just go with the flow. Because
Very
my
good.
gosh.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you very much. I didn't have to even prompt that from you. Thank you so much.
Oh my God. No, yeah.
Really good.
I've learned that. I learned that in like the first couple of years of acting, or just knocking on doors and doing auditions. Like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about this. I know I did good, and it felt like they congratulate you. You're like, oh my God, it was so good. And you never heard from them. And it's the other way around.
Now, one thing I noticed a little bit about Mariana Flores is that you don't do a lot of networking. You don't really, and that maybe I'm wrong about that. And that, I think that would be one good thing you could add to your bucket. Unless I'm wrong, I mean, because you do meet people, right, at some of these red carpet events. Now, we invited you to one, and you came, and I really appreciate that. That was a while ago.
Right. Yeah, it was a while ago. I used to. It's just that sometimes I feel like my social skills are like not on the floor, but under the carpet.
Well,
I have to say that I should be just doing more networking,
yeah,
socializing,
take
and
the
more
glasses
connections.
off, take the glasses off, put the hair down. I'm kidding. I love your glasses. But
they're
put
brand
that red
new.
carpet gown on and get out there. But no, we're all very busy, and it's just something sometimes I have to force myself to go. I don't really want to go out, but then again, you never know who you might meet and connect with. That could lead to something in the future. And
I
that's
think you're a very connected person. I think you really are, though. I think like that you all the time like trying to move and be someplace and like
you have to.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to. I love to stay in my cave or my man cave, as I like to.
I wish.
Not really a cave, okay? It's not like that, but I'm kidding around. But sometimes you're just gonna have to force yourself and go out. And
right.
Sometimes I just don't want to do it, but I had to moderate. I did a lot more when I was first starting the business. I don't do it as much as I used to, but it's still good to go out because you never know.
Right. Get the sunlight.
Who you might meet. I mean, I got drug out to a few weeks ago to it was some kind of a gathering, and I was tired. And it was a last minute thing. I just didn't want to go with that. Well, I owe this person a favor because he was bugging me to go. And I went, and I got connected with a great guy, with a really that's making a difference in our business now. So you just never know. That's the long story, right?
That is true.
That's the only complaint I have about Mariana.
I'll work on it.
But I think that you're doing an awesome job. Just keep doing what you're doing and fit in what you can. The most important thing is to keep food coming to the table before anything else. And that's why those odd jobs you're doing are important, right?
Right. No, yes, I agree.
You covered a lot of things like mental health. I really love the way you're handling the attitude part with the exercising, the diet, and being disciplined and doing all those things. And the meditation, I think, is something people could do a lot more of. I really like that concept because acting can be, as you know, a lonely job, so to speak, in quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you and the camera when you're doing self-tapes, and maybe a reader, of course. Yeah. And sometimes readers aren't even on camera anymore, even aren't physically there anymore. They're on
right. They're on Zoom too.
So, and that was especially hard, obviously, when COVID was around. But at least now you can go out and do this. So I think what you're doing is really great stuff for actors. And I think also now and then going out and having a drink is not a bad thing. And just letting loose. But I don't recommend that for everybody at all. That's a now and then thing, and that's not for everybody. But whatever you decide to do, it's important to do those things to relax yourself, and have a good time, so to speak, whatever that may be. But discipline is very important, to have that discipline every day. So you keep doing all those things you need to do to keep yourself in shape, eat well, and have a schedule. I love having a calendar. For me, that's what I love to do. And sometimes I get lazy. Like this week was not a good calendar week for David.
And it's okay though. It's also good to be flexible too.
You have to be flexible. This is a very flexible week for David.
That's good too. We should never.
I'm not sure why, but I made sure yesterday I wrote my notes down about what I'm doing the rest of the week. And that's why we're on here. Otherwise, this may not have happened. We covered a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think what else would be good to talk about. You covered a lot of ground with your answers because you really have it together. I think the most important thing, you're welcome. The most important thing is that in this business is the diligence part. You have to keep doing the auditions, even if you don't like them, even if you don't think they're right. Sometimes I'll get texts saying, well, not really that age. And I don't think, well, don't worry about it. Casting would not have given you an audition if they didn't think you might be right for the role. You wouldn't have gotten the audition, no matter what age or
nationality. They must have seen something.
Yeah, they've seen something that I think might work for the role. So just do the audition anyway. So I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
The way you handle yourself. And we have a new production that you're going to be part of, right? And
how is that going on?
With Alex, it's going well.
Good.
We're just working on all those scenes, and I guess I can say Spike returns. I'm not giving anything away. Still top secret, but
It's okay.
we're working on some of the scenes. We hope that we're going to start filming next week, and we'll see.
Nice.
And then
Good.
your particular scene will not be in that your particular role would not appear in that scene. So it'll be sometime in the near future. I just don't have a handle on your scene yet. So
All good.
so that's great. I think that we've covered a lot of ground here. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that you would like to say about the business or about what actors can do to get into it and keep going? Any more thoughts in that arena that might be?
Oh my goodness. Well, for me, I would say it goes along with the what do you do to keep yourself encouraged or to decompress? And it's gonna sound a little bit corny, but I would say that just have faith, honestly. Like it's okay. I mean, it's fine. You're gonna be pushing yourself through many things, and it's okay if they do not work out. It's gonna be okay, honestly. It's there are gonna be some tough situations, maybe not because of acting, but other things that will get in your career and will have it will not let you, let's just say, I don't know, book a role, or it got complicated, or you were between this person and yourself and you didn't get it, and it's okay. Actually, when we were on the meeting, do you remember? I don't remember her name. It was Alex and the other girl in front of me. Oh shoot, my goodness! I spent the whole afternoon talking with her. She seemed really nice. She's your talent too, by the way. She's
Are you
also
talking
on
about
Firestone.
Michelle? I mean, Melissa Pluckham? Is she a
She's
black hair?
yes.
It's Melissa.
She's
Yeah,
Melissa. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was sitting at the other table, right?
Right.
Yeah, with me. She's great.
She
She's
was
awesome.
talking to
Shout out
me
to
about
Melissa Pluckham.
right. She was talking to me how it was. They were about to pick her. It was between her and another person, and she didn't end up getting it. And I was like, oh, shit, that sucks. But that's how it is. This is how it is. It's like I've been in situations like, okay, there's no one here, right? And then it's me, and there's like in the callback, and it's like, oh, do you remember also the callback that I had in Mexico during the pandemic? I had 2 callbacks via Zoom.
Wow.
2 callbacks via Zoom, and I was like I nailed it on the second callback. It was so good. The director was so good. Like he was so happy. Like, Mariana, you did so great, and I didn't book it.
Yeah, it's just
like
tough.
You gotta, it is.
It's always a new beginning for actors.
Yeah,
and
those moments you gotta keep faith.
There's just so many other factors which are out of your control, and you're right about that.
Right.
So one last question for you, Mariana. You've been great. Thank you so much for coming on. What's your dream? What's your dream with your career? What is it you'd like to achieve? What do you? I know you went behind the scenes, but what do you really want to do? What are your thoughts right now with that? Tough question, I know, but just curious what your thoughts are.
Right. Well, I think if I just say that we'll make it in the industry, it's going to sound very cliche, I think. I don't know, but I'm starting to write. I've been starting to write my own projects, and I'm working on one in particular. And I guess I would like to share light into some subjects or ideas that I don't think they are being talked to, that they're there in the world, but people that are not conscious about those ideas or those, I don't know, how do you say, like things that are happening, like how there are problems in the world, and you want to share some insight or light, put light into the world. I would say I would like to do that. Is it because of my acting, or because I'm writing, or because I'm directing or producing? I just would like to share some light into the world.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And that'll be, and if I end up getting an Oscar, that'll be great.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's added penny on top of the thought there. Yeah, for sure. Well, keep me updated about that. Maybe there's something we can do to help that thing to happen.
Thank you.
Well, Mariana, any other things you'd like to chat about while we're on here?
Well, I would say thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it
It's
was
it's
awesome.
it's been it's
It
been
was great to
great.
meet
Thank
you.
you.
You're
It's
one of
always
our,
nice.
careful how I say that, but again, you're a very diligent actor.
Thank
And I
you.
think because you're diligence and the way you look at the world, that's why you get that co-star booking. Now, when we're going to get the next one, who knows, right?
Right.
But we just keep at it and keep going and
Right.
see where the path leads us.
Right. Yes. Looking
Thank you,
forward to it.
Mariana,
No,
for
thank
coming
you.
on. And we'll talk soon.